I'm Matt with etrailer. If you have a 2023 Toyota RAV4 and you're looking for a roof rack that's one, going to be really easy to install, and two, looks pretty clean on top of your roof, then the Thule Roof Rack is going to be a great option for you. So let's check it out. It is important you know that you have the right type of roof for this kit. So what you can check is coming over to your rails, and if you can get your whole hand around here and underneath, then you have raised rails. You're in the right place. Now, if you have some rails that you can only grab onto the top of, you can't get your hands underneath, those are going to be flush rails. And if you come over here and you don't have any rails at all, it's just flat up top, then you're going to have a naked roof. So that's why it's important just to check first, and then also to plug in your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find the right one for you. Taking a closer look at the components of the rack, there's only going to be two. There's going to be a crossbar itself, that's 50 inches, and there's going to be the tower. Now with this crossbar, the way this is designed, we do have this arrow shape to it. That's designed to help this be more aerodynamic, to help reduce wind noise. What else is also going to reduce wind noise is going to be this weather strip at the very top, and it's also going to keep debris from entering in here. And the reason why we do have this strip here is to protect our T-channel. Your T-channel is going to be great if you have any clamp-on accessories that won't mount to a certain location or don't look very nice. You can use this T-channel instead, and it'll just slide in through this tray. Now we're also going to have this end cap that actually slides up. This is pretty unique. Not too many other crossbars have this feature. You can actually slide that out, so you can make this process a lot easier for getting your gear in place. And right below that, we're going to have the tower. And this is a super simple design. You actually have a plastic lock core right here. You can get that traded out in the future for a metal lock core if you want something that's going to be even more secure. If I press down on the bottom, I can take that off. You'll see it's just one bolt, a super simple design. You'll have that included tool to tighten this into place, and it doesn't take any time at all. Now for how this is really grabbing onto our rail, this is doing a pretty okay job. It might not be the best one out there, but it is better than a lot of other options. The worst point we're going to have is just this little tiny gap here, but I do think we're getting a lot of security from the very bottom. This lip right here is doing a lot of work for us. We get a few measurements. The first one I want to get is going to be the distance underneath our crossbar, and just by looking at this, I can tell we have a lot of space. This is going to be about 4 inches, so that should be good with most of your gear. Now the biggest thing to think about is if you have some extra large clamps, they might work kind of funky underneath here, but with that much space, you should be good. Now for the height it adds to your vehicle, if I go from our rails right here, that's going to add just about 2.5 inches. Not too bad, considering we already have the rails on here. What I'd also recommend doing is just take the total height of your vehicle, your crossbars, and then anything that is on top of here, just so you know what areas you can make it under. A spot to really think about would be a garage. And right now our crossbar spread is 23 inches, which is pretty good. You can even go further than that if need be. That's one of the nice things about having a raised rail. You can really have a lot of options when it comes to mounting your roof rack. As for the overhang, it's going to be a little bit different on the front and back, just because this roof does kind of expand a little bit to the front. And right now you're going to have about 2 inches of usable space around this spot right here. And that's going to be good if you have any accessories like ski carriers. That's going to leave it enough room to really wrap around here. Now if you have a kayak carrier, that might not be able to wrap all the way around here if you have a clamp. But that's why we have that T-channel, so we can mount it at the very top. That's what I like about overhang, is you get a little bit more real estate. Now if you're not a big fan of overhang, there's actually another option, and that's going to be a flush option. And those are actually going to look a little bit more OEM. So if you are looking for something more like that, then I'd actually recommend the Yakima roof rack. That's going to be one that's just going to be a flush option. The crossbars are going to be a lot smaller, so you won't have as much room. But if you're only throwing up one box, then that should be fine for you. In my opinion, I think this is a pretty solid choice, especially if you are looking for an overhang style roof rack that looks really nice on top of your roof. Now, if you're looking for more of an OEM finish, then again, I recommend that Yakima roof rack because it's just going to end at the towers. Just keep in mind, you won't have as much room to work with, so if you want to put a lot of gear up here, you won't have that opportunity most likely, and it won't be as easy of an install. And that might be a big concern for you if you are constantly taking off your roof rack to either have more of a clean look or if you're just going through car washes a lot. As for the installation, like I said, it's only one bolt, but if you're curious to see if we have any tips or tricks, just stay tuned. We'll walk you through the process. To start off with, I'm just going to grab my tower and the crossbar. And typically I would have my white table, but we got these new studios and I don't have access to that right now. Really, this installation will be pretty easy, so I won't even need one. All I have to do from this point is remove this end cap. There's going to be a tab on the inside of it, and we just pull until that comes right off. With that off, you're going to notice I have this tab here sticking out and here. These tabs are just going to line in place with that channel on the bottom of our crossbar. So we're just going to slide that in, making sure that that bolt is facing on the outside. Once we've done that, we can repeat this on the other side. If you're not seeing that bolt, your end cap's probably still on. This is what it's going to look like. And if it's unlocked, looking just like this, you can just press on the bottom. That will release this tab. Now you can see that bolt. You want to make sure you take that end cap off now because we're going to tighten down these bolts pretty soon. But for now, I'm going to put this on top of my roof. And to do that, we need to make sure that thicker side is facing forward and the thinner side is facing behind us. Once we've done that, I'm just going to lift up and put it on until it sits right on top of my rails. Now, if you're running into the issue where that's not able to grab all the way around, what you can do is grab your included tool and loosen up this bolt so it can grab. It should start to just fall in place, just like that. And from here, we can get a few measurements. The first measurement I'm going to get is going to be the distance each end of the crossbar sits, because you want to make sure it's squared. So what I like to do is use someplace that's going to be the same on either side, anywhere kind of like this seam where the door closes at. We're just going to measure and make sure it's the same. So if we're 3 inches away over here, we want to make sure we're 3 inches away on the other side. We also want to make sure our overhang is going to be the same. So after when you get that first measurement, come over to the end of the crossbar, make sure it's even on either side, and once you've done that, then you can start tightening this down. The trick to tighten this down all the way is actually to just start on one side, and we don't want to tighten it down completely. What we want to do is maybe get a little bit of resistance on one side. Once you find you have a little resistance on one side, then you want to go over to the other side, repeat that process, going back and forth until it's completely tightened down. And the way you'll be able to tell if this is tightened all the way down is eventually you're going to hear a click. Almost there now. Once you hear that click on both sides, just like that, then you can come by and give it a good pull test, make sure it feels pretty good. And then you repeat that process on the back side. With the last end cap on, then you can start loading up with whatever gear you have and take it out for a ride. Well, that's just a look at the installation and some of the features of the Thule Roof Rack on our 2023 Toyota RAV4. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.